There
There
you
you go.
go.
All right. I'm hitting them. Hello, hello.
Hello. Good. Andre, bouncer guy.
What's up, y'all?
Hello,
Happy
hello.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Let me turn off the waiting room. I always forget how to do that.
Mm.
Um, there we go.
Welcome, welcome.
What's up,
West
everyone?
KY, Bethany.
Whoa. That was like
Whoa,
a
whoa.
flashbang. Oh my
Drum.
God. That was insane.
I need one of those.
Oh, well, I use it for my tattooing, and it's just I don't have the best like bedroom lighting, so this comes in handy for my Zoom meetings and everything.
Great, great. Francisco, welcome,
What's up,
welcome, everyone.
everyone?
Okay, I think 10 people. Should we start or should we wait
Yeah,
a little bit more?
yeah, that's up to you. Go ahead.
Great, great, great. So, welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is actually my first time hosting a round table. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best. So, to start off, our topic for today is basically boosting your bounce house business in 2026. The power of templates and ads, the power of graphic design. Basically, what I want to talk about today is graphic design and ads. So whenever you talk to someone in the bounce house industry, I've heard a lot of things. Like I don't like to go online first. I like to do it organically, only with Google reviews. But a lot of people don't understand the value of running ads and graphic design with a good strategy. So my question is to everyone: when you started your party rental business, did you thought about running ads at the start, or you learn it afterwards in the way? I see you, Ralph. I see you. Let me know. Does anyone start?
Yeah, I'll start real quick. Yeah, so I had no, well, honestly, I think I started to try the Google Ads on my own, and I was just getting uh, calls from all over the country, and instead of the area that I was trying to advertise to, and so I quickly realized that I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't really think that I could afford to pay for uh the ad fees and all of that. But Lionel talked to me one time and he's like, I'm telling you, and I didn't believe him. I went about 2 more months and then I'm like, okay, I gotta do something. And so I called him back and we did it and I've never looked back since. It has, I mean, uh, if the Google ads are off, it's like I don't exist.
Yeah,
And yeah, I pay, Event Hawk, and then I pay about 500 to 600 a month in Google Ads, but I my return is usually um uh 3 to 4, so it's been well worth it.
that's great. That's great, Ralph. Thank you for sharing that. And that's something that not everyone learns at the start of their business. That's something that you have to learn because you how can you trust like to pay Facebook or Google and get something in return, right? Uh, but you can, and that's what we do here at a Bangkok. Basically, graphic design with a good strategy is the best you can do. I've seen I've seen cases where people just wanted to run Google ads and then they didn't go well or something for some reason, maybe the place they were running it or the targeting. But then they started running on Facebook, and that's when it gets when you use all the audience that gets to your website on Facebook gets really good. I promise you. I saw someone with their hand up. I don't know if you want to speak. Um, I think it's Samsung SM. All right. So I know this is a topic that not everyone knows about and everything, but I'm currently working as a Facebook ads manager on a Bangkok. So you can ask me any questions about this. Like how is the campaign performing? How do we know the KPIs are doing well? Like, what do we measure? What strategies do we use for graphic design? Even though, like, right now, we're working on a project for creating templates for Trifolds, which is really good because you can use the graphic design to create something that you can use over time, use edit, use your own pictures. You can go to schools and hand it over. Does anyone like anyone here has done that strategy, like handing over trifles in schools or in events? I don't know. Someone have used that before?
As I say, no, I have not used it before. However, I'm very interested in starting to use that. Up until now, we haven't wanted to get into the larger events stuff. We want to stay with backyard parties. So the trifolds really aren't something that you just go handing out for that particular type of marketing. But now that we're wanting to get into the bigger events, we are wanting to start having trifolds that we can pass out to schools and send out and such like that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's actually something that I'm doing for Bounce My House right now. Like, I'm literally going to the office tomorrow to mail out 600 plus letters. And hold on, let me just go on a tangent really quick. I did this all by myself, 100% me. I mean, Tariq helped me with like formatting some of the letters, and we're doing split testing with physical letters. I have 3 different letters going out to 615 schools. And again, each there's like 3 different versions of the letter, and I have everything tracked in. So I'm going a little crazy. You guys don't have to do what I'm doing, but I have a spreadsheet with 615 schools with like the mailing labels and everything, and then I have a drop down next to each school, and I'm assigning what letter, what version letter, A, B, or C, that they received. So when they contact, I can kind of see which version of the letter worked a little bit better because Tariq taught a couple different strategies and things like that in the bigger bookings masterclass. Um, but I wanted to see which one worked best for myself. So we're doing split testing, and we actually had our awesome design team come up with an amazing trifold for us. We wanted a new one. We wanted something that was catered towards schools because we have like our standard brochure that we've had for a few years. And it's nice, it does the job, but this one is like specific to schools. We have our Kyoto certification on there, 100, or I think the whatever 1 million liability insurance on there. Like we have all these bullet points where we only pictured things that schools rent out. So most schools aren't doing like bounce houses and combos. They're doing obstacle courses, game rentals, foam machines, dunk tanks. So that's like a majority of what's pictured on ours. And then again, just like value factors, trust factors are on there that schools find important. And so I'm really excited to see how they do this year. Tariq was doing it before I even started 2 years ago, but this will be my first time doing it. And I'm just excited. I'm sending them out tomorrow. We're a little bit late to the game. We usually try to do it December, but again, it was just me, myself, and I printing out 600 letters, putting them in the envelopes, labeling every single envelope, stamping each envelope, and then putting a brochure in the envelope and sealing it all by myself. Thankfully, I came out with 2 paper cuts. That's it. So I'm just gonna say I'm pretty proud of myself. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Samsung SM because you've had your hand raised for a minute.
Yes, I just wanted to go ahead and ask, um, how can we go upon sending a bunch of different letters to people in our community? Like, how can we gather their information for us to be able to mail them? Because I'll be honest, the way that I've been targeting, I run a tutoring business and I work at different schools. So I've been doing different type of marketing, but very similar to what you guys are doing. But what I'm trying to say is now that I've been a tutor, I've actually invested in about 12 different inflatable units that now since I work at the school, I'm trying to actually figure out what's the best way to target the school. Like, would it be through like maybe staff that works at the school, or like principals,
Mhm.
or do we even target the kids by just giving them a business card or a flyer, or who knows? I just want to see what the group has to say, and I'm open to hearing different opinions.
That makes sense. Yeah, so I at least what we did, and I'm happy to open it up to everyone else who has done this. We addressed it. I did another test. I addressed like 50% of them to events director, and then the other 50% I addressed to the PTA. And so I'm also curious to see which ones actually get to the right people. Because that's a really good point. Sometimes it doesn't get to where you want to go. From my experience, I wouldn't recommend giving it to the kids just because you don't know what makes it back to the parent. And if you're looking for like the bigger ticket items, like the bigger school events, you want that to get to the event director. But if you are trying to target parents, then maybe, sending kids home with a flyer isn't a bad idea. But I'm thinking more so if you're targeting the school itself, that's probably who you want to address it to. And in terms of like finding your local schools, I don't have the link on me, but there is like a local school directory that you can use, and you can actually export all the data into an Excel spreadsheet and create your mailing labels from there as well.
Or you can ask AI to pull their school address for you.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that as well.
Nice, nice. Thank you for that advice. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And then Lane Ivy asked, what are your trust factors for schools? It's not too different than what we do for like our normal brochures. We have, obviously we're insured, we're fully insured, clean and sanitized before and after every event. I wish I had the brochure on me so I can literally read from it, but I don't. So I would say like our standard trust factors. And then I think the main things that we really tried to do differently, other than the images and graphics and everything, was putting the Kyoto certification on there because all schools need to go with an insured company. So putting that big and bold on your brochure, like, hey, we're insured, like we got you covered. We make booking super easy, get a response within 15 minutes. So I would say most of our typical stuff, but just really honing in on the fact that we're insured, we're clean and safe. And that Kyoto certification helps with that as well. Yes. Ralph.
In my area, it's Jeffrey says in my area, we have to pass a county background check for the business and employees.
Interesting. I don't think we have to do that here.
Yeah. And our school districts here, um, obviously we have to be an approved vendor of the school. They don't do background checks, but as part of the application, it says that like uh, you guarantee that none of your employees have are felons and
Right.
or so that we have to acknowledge or guarantee that, but we don't personally go through any background checks.
Right.
I have three suggestions for getting into schools. One is, Teacher Appreciation Day, bringing a basket of breakfast and snacks, is and with your information for all that goes in the teachers' lounges, and it kind of gets all of the teachers get to it. Another thing that I do at the beginning of the year is I have a couple of actually from regular customers and but they they ask for like Amazon sponsors, kind of, all the teachers have a Amazon wish list, and that so you can call the schools and ask for couple of teachers Amazon wish lists, and so they'll give them to that. And so I kind of ask if it's someone that's part of the planning committees, or uh, the what's the end of the year graduation thing, what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I try and ask for those kind of teachers specifically to do their Amazon wish list. And then I spoke a couple of weeks ago. I found the teacher that did the student council, and I donated one a unit, an obstacle course, and to be able to donate one, I still had to they still had to do an approved vendors list. So even though I donated, I became an approved vendor, and so now I can across the school district everywhere. I can be a vendor too, and it really has paid off. So,
That's awesome.
and
Interesting.
there's also student uh
Student appreciation days.
no it's a learning let me think about for a second. I'll tell you in a second because right
We'll
now
come back to you.
yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
Love it.
Love
Are
it.
you talking about the ASB program, the Associated Student Body?
Um no, it's it's in my email. Hold on. Give
While
me
Ralph
a second.
looks for that, I know that Andy had something he wanted to share in terms of like our templates and our brochures and everything. What you got, Andy?
Yeah, I wanted to share. We're doing right now the templates. That's what I wanted to show and tell you guys the importance of graphic design in this industry because I've seen results. I promise you, I've seen a lot of results. Like Ralph here, he invested on Google and he saw a return on ad spend of three, four times what he spent. So right now we want to gonna help you guys in these roundtables. We can touch base on subjects that can make you more money basically. And Soel here is doing an amazing work, like 600, more than 600 schools. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I wanted to share this. We did four templates for Trifolds. You can buy them, you can edit them however you want. You can put your pictures, you can use them forever, literally. Just print, go to schools, use all of your strategies. Like I think like a couple of round tables before I heard someone did it to sell to a school. They put a foam machine right outside the school so the kids can see it when they go to the classroom and everything, and they will go crazy. I know you cannot do that with Bounce House, but maybe you can go to schools and offer like, hey, I can take a Bounce House, and they'll like the service, and kids are gonna be asking for more. Those are things you can do, to get well, if you need permission or something, that's another thing. But if you go to school personally, like hand over trifles or you try different things, you offer a bounce house one day for free, and kids are gonna be asking for that again. You can offer that service. I'll do that. If I was a bounce house owner, I'll do that. I'll offer my service for free one time, and I promise you everything comes back. You see Soel here handing over like how many trifles, Soel? How
Say
many
that one more time.
how many trifles do you hand over? Like
How many? How many did we hand out?
yeah.
So we typically will just send out the ones for schools every year, but in terms of like actually handing them out, it's not super often. Like if I'm trying to build relationships with other businesses and things like that, then yes. But also if you're newer, it's really, really good. Like we've been in business for 10 years and they're amazing. They do amazing work for us when it comes to sending them to schools. And also you can drop them off to nearby houses when you're doing a delivery, where that's actually something new we're going to implement this year, where every single delivery that our guys do, they have to drop off 5 flyers to surrounding houses, which is something that Christian Payton talked about. So we're definitely going to be using them a ton more this year than we have in the past 2 years since I've been there. Um, but they come in handy. And especially if you have something that's again graphically attractive, eye-catching, it makes a big difference because I feel like the ones we got this year for schools are so much more eye-appealing than the ones we've had in the past. Again, they're still great and they still look pretty, but these are so much more eye-catching for a lot of different reasons because our awesome graphic design team killed it.
Yeah, and that's great. It's really important. It's really important to follow a strategy to put like effort in the graphic design, so people can actually like that's what we're doing, and you are doing split testing, right? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
literally split testing designs to see which
Mm-hmm.
one works the most, you know? That's
Right.
exactly the same that you do with social media, with in-person conversation. You try different things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Hey guys, good evening.
Hi,
Uh,
Francisco.
how you guys doing? Hey, a quick question. Do you have anything for foam machines or like foam parties? I'm trying to make one, but I'm not a really good designer even in Canva. So I don't know if y'all have anything available because this year I'm trying to at least double my goal from last year with foam parties this year.
Mm-hmm.
that's great. That's great. We're gonna be working on more. Save that page right there because we're gonna be working on more templates. We're gonna be right now we did those, but we're gonna work for foam as well. And yeah, basically we don't want to do custom because it's too complicated to not follow a strategy that is gonna work for you guys. We prefer to do templates that we know work. Um, and yeah, that we're gonna be updating there. But thank you for the question, Francisco. Of course, we're gonna add templates for FOM as well.
The
Uh,
the foam cannon. What's the guy's name? He was at the meeting just
Carlos.
Carlos. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, his website and Facebook page, or I don't know about his website, but his Facebook page has links to images
Oh,
and videos and things that are free to use, and they're like professional images, and so that could help you out with your Canva or Trifolds too.
I think it says OFX group, right, Ralph?
Oh,
If
effects.
you
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
under the
Thank you.
OFX
Thank you.
official user group and you go into the guides section, he has lots of free stuff that you can use.
Yes,
Hmm.
exactly.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you could probably mess with some, like if you liked one of those templates, Francisco, that I dropped the link in the chat for you guys. I'm gonna send it again because it's starting to get buried. But I'm sure you could go in there and edit it to make it more foam friendly, and then you could probably use those graphics that Ralph and Gabriel mentioned that are in that group. A lot of it's like, drag and drop in terms of images and things like that. I took a brief look at them and they look amazing. So I'm sure you could kind of like customize it a little bit to make it more foam friendly, if you will.
yeah, yeah, you can add some foam machines there, and that's basically it. Like there's two templates that we did that have no bounce houses for that specific reason. So you can basically use them like for whatever you want to do. You know, it's basically the colors, everything is based to events rental. So anything you would like to, you can add there, you can edit. It's gonna be a Canva file basically hand over to you. So, so yeah, if you wanna add things there, but I promise you we're gonna add more templates in the future. I think this is really good and it's gonna be really good. What we want to do is help you guys, like help other businesses grow. And I think these strategies are gonna work. You see, so Elle here is doing it right now. She can tell you. She can tell you all like is working.
Yeah,
And
I'm excited to see the results as the year progresses because, like I said, I'm sending them out tomorrow. So we'll see what kind of responses we got. And some of them are like repeat schools that we've already worked with in the past too. But we're still sending them anyways. So because we have new
Can
products and stuff we want to show off. So yeah,
can
I'm
I
excited.
just pay you to do mine for me also?
No. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, man,
Wait,
I've been working on this for way too long. Like I had a whole plan in my head. I was gonna bring the delivery crew and I was gonna have like a whole assembly line. Nope, no one was available. Just me. Just little old me by myself. So no.
we all need a Zuel in the office, and our businesses will be great.
Yep. Thanks.
yeah, that's another strategy. You have to get one cell.
Hmm. Tariq
I
always says you need to get you a Zoel, but you can't have my Zoel.
Yeah, I've
That
heard
is
him say
why
that.
the group is
I
called Bounce House
I
Boss.
always say if we could clone ourselves, we'd be great, but we just need 100 Zoels to run the party rental business.
Yep. Oh my God, I'd make so
Zoel,
much
You need to figure out your clone.
I know, right? I need to get on it. Well, when you figure it out, Aaron, you let me know.
I do have a Facebook advertising question. So when I know that so I'm the whatever tier uh member for Event Hawk or whatever and so they will start doing I believe start doing Facebook ads pretty soon. But so it kind of leads me to think that there's maybe a don't do it during the fall and winter because you're kind of wasting your money, or is there a certain months of the year that y'all run them or prefer to run them?
Well, we prefer to run them in the season where it's more hot, that kids can play out there and everything. Not because it's not gonna work on the off season, but because you're gonna use your money more efficiently in the season, right? It's gonna work in both seasons, but it's gonna work a lot more. If you want to invest and put a lot of money, of course, I'm gonna recommend to do it on the season from March to, let's say, August, depending on your weather and everything. But yeah, it does changes a lot of things when you start advertising. Sometimes what we do is run ads to a website, and so basically send traffic to your website. But even if you don't have a website, you can run ads to get messages. Just with $300 a month, you can get, I don't know, thousands of people into your graphics, into your website, anything, and that's a lot. I can tell you a case, for example, like 2 weeks ago, we were running ads for uh, a business in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were not being successful for 1 or 2 weeks, but we were also running Google ads, and they did something different. They started targeting just one place in Phoenix, which is Surprise, Arizona, because we talking with the business, we realized that the like the biggest competitors were in the other side of Phoenix. So we started targeting literally just Surprise, Arizona, like 15 miles, something. So it was not even half of Phoenix, Arizona. And we started getting a lot of bookings. So that's how you use the budget, basically. You target the place that you want to target. You make it as small as possible so you can be in people's heads. You upgrade the frequency, which is the times that you see a post. So basically, if you, Ralph, see a post 5 times, the frequency is going to be 5, right? That's what we want to get. We want to get there to a place where when you spend the money, you show it to the same people like every time, so they can remember your business. And even if you cannot uh, have all like the full city because you have competitors and everything, you can use your own zone to get you a lot of bookings. That strategy, like it is, if you were handling like Trifolds, you're gonna go to places that you have no competitors, for example. And that's the smartest thing you can do because they're gonna know you first and they're gonna choose you always. But yeah, like I don't know if I answered your question, but
From personal experience, because I also well I've been with Event Hawk already for about a year or so, um, and this past year I started running ads with them, and I mean, like I said, from personal experience, it is going to be trial and error at first because well, one thing is like what works for you may not work for the other, and then you kind of have to play with them. But one thing that I will tell you is even because I know your main concern is like, I'm not here trying to sell you on anything, right? But your main concern is the seasons is like, and when to run them, right? So from what I've seen is they're always updating it, right? So if like one thing is popping during the season, obviously those are going to be like keywords and stuff like that they're going to be changing during the busy season, and then for example water slides, right? And then once like fall comes around or like the colder seasons, then obviously they'll change it. If if you offer, for example, tents, chairs, tables, outdoor heaters or whatever, then that's probably what's going to be most searched during that season, during that time, during those months. So that's going to be some keywords that they're going to go back into your ads and change for you. That way it still becomes a relevant ad to people. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about that right now, especially if you're just starting with them and you're about to start running the ads. Try to find your flow first, see what works for you, and then just go from there, because I was being pushed towards doing like meta ads at first because I am a smaller business and the area that I am in, there is a lot of competition. But it didn't really work out for me, so we kind of just decided to do something different. Like like Andres was mentioning, this other company decided to do something different. Sometimes you have to do something different. Like you start off following the steps, and then from there you tweak it to make it work for you. So what we did is, instead of focusing on meta, I was like, let's just go with Google ads and let's just see what happens. And I'm honestly irritated at myself that I didn't just do Google ads earlier, because it worked out so much in my favor. Like I actually had a lot of return, I had a lot of traction. And I mean, I was paying attention, and they definitely were sitting there like making the changes that they needed to. And you can always reach out to them if you have any questions or if you need any clarification on anything. Trust me, I know I've gotten on, on some of them sometimes. And sometimes it was like just me not necessarily understanding something. But once I understood it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But like I said, trial and error at first. But from there, once you start following their direction, you tweak it to work for you, and it eventually you'll start getting the flow of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're
If
a
I can throw in a personal experience on that one, as far as the question of off season versus on and meta ads, my ROIs off of my Google ads and the meta ads are roughly the same in season and off season, as far as the Google ads and the meta ads ROI are the same in June, and then they're going to be the same in what we're having right now is in January. The ROI on our meta ads right now in the off season is about a 4.5.
wow.
So I would say, even though it's in the off season and you may not get the exact numbers that you're looking for, of course, your Google ads are probably going to have a little bit higher ROI, um, because there's a little more intent whenever they're clicking on your stuff. However, if you get your Google or get your meta ads up now and give them a couple of months to fine tune everything, by the time you get in season, when you're going to get that heavy ROI, which mine usually runs about 15 in season, that's going to be off my Google ads and my meta ads. So depending on 12 would be a low, and 18, of course, would be like a really high one. But we're looking at about those numbers off of both Google and and Meta at the same time.
That's
So
awesome.
Hey, Jeffrey.
I would say
Sorry.
just if you can, have them run both, and
Mm-hmm.
best of both worlds,
Hey,
because
Jeffrey.
my cost on Google is higher, but again, ROI is where it counts. So they're roughly the same. And if I'm getting 15 ROI, then I'm gonna use that marketing everywhere I possibly can.
Hey, Jeffrey.
And
Sure.
even then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, and I just jumped on, so you may have already said, but who manages your Google ads?
Event Hawk, I apologize.
I got
If anybody's asking, I looked into my situation with Event Hawk very early on. Literally the Friday after I got my insurance to start business, which was in November of 23, I met Tariq at IAPA, and they immediately started running my Google ads on the paper booking. Worked out awesome in my favor because I didn't get a single booking until February. So they were running my ads. I just didn't have to pay for it. And then they continued to run my ads. And then I bumped it up to where from the paper booking after a year to them just running my Google ads on a regular basis because the return was so good. And then as soon as they offered meta ads, I jumped on the meta ads as quickly as I could. And I've had nothing but positive. Again, the first 2 months, you jump into it and you're like, ooh, it's going to be awesome. And it's not, because they got to fine tune it. But once they got everything fine tuned and they figured out exactly what was going to work in my market, I've had fantastic results from them.
So you pay for them to manage Google Ads and Meta Ads?
Absolutely. And my SEO.
Okay. So, well, would you, I don't know if you want to do it in the group or in private message. Can you send pricing on ad management?
I do not have our prices, but what I did do is I threw a link in the chat. So if you are interested in learning more about any of the services we have to offer, because we do more than just marketing too. Like we have our Event Hawk platform. We, like Andy was mentioning earlier, we have graphics, free templates, all this kind of stuff. If you're interested in any of that, I dropped a link in the chat. That's where you can book a free meeting with us. So I would say that's your best shot, because I don't have access to our pricing for individual services at this time.
Okay. And Jeffrey, if you don't mind, I'm going to send you a private message.
Certainly.
Great stuff. Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you, Jeffrey. Like you're 100% right, and you learn it because you tried it, right? So I think that's the hardest part. Like the most difficult part is to educate people on what these things can do. Just taking action. It's like imagine you're paying someone to go scream to the right places that you are like your book, you have bounce houses in your ads and you wanna take bookings. That's what you're doing with Facebook and Google. Basically, you're paying the platform to advertise your business. So if you do it in the right way, you always get return. But it can take some time. Sometimes takes 2 weeks, 1 month, depending on the place, the business. There's a lot of factors that you have to consider it. But yeah, it works. I promise you, it works. Swell.
Yeah, I was just curious if you knew the difference between boosting posts on Facebook versus like running meta ads, because that's something a lot of times that I'll get in like at least the past couple years that I've been here, I get asked that question a lot, and a lot of people seem to think that it's the exact same thing, and a lot of times I do have to explain that they're very different. Both can be beneficial, but I don't know all the details of like the full difference between the two. So maybe if you can kind of explain that to others who might be under the same impression.
Yeah. It gives you the option to do it on the app. Basically, it's boosting. So whenever you post something on Facebook, for example, you can boost the post, just pay daily, and it will show it to a bunch of random people. But what you do with the ads manager, so not boosting post, is you set up a detailed targeting on the place you want. You can also say like party interested in parties or parents with sons between 3 and 16 years old. You can do all these things, but the most important part is that you can create a pixel. And what a pixel does is save the information you gather. So imagine, so you're paying money and you're boosting an ad, but all the information is going like you don't even know where it's going, right? It's erasing basically. But what you do with a pixel and with a website and a pixel is saving all of the audience, and Facebook is learning from it. So you take that pixel and you can create other campaigns and retarget the people that you already have saved in that pixel. And that's something you cannot do boosting posts, saving the data, saving the information. But yeah, like like Jeffrey and Rosalie said, this takes time. Can work. It can work in like 1 week. I've seen it work in the first 2 days, but yeah, it
Oh,
happens.
it works. It works almost immediately. It's just a matter of how much. The expectation is going to be, if you're looking at your Google ads or, popping off at, 12 to 14 ROI, and you start off with your meta ads and you got like a 4 or 3 or something, you're like, hey, what's going on here? And then, a month into it, you're like, oh, okay, now my ROI is up there the same because it took them a little bit to tweak the stuff that they needed to.
How
That's
big are you, Jeffrey? your how many units in all? What do you offer?
Right now we're at 23 units and we're just under 400 events a year. I want to say, actually, I think we actually broke 400 towards the end of December. I think we ended up at like 405 for the year. Everyone talks revenue, and revenue is such an odd number because we don't charge the same thing. You know, I got 400 backyard events, you got 400 backyard events, and your revenue's double mine. So it sounds like, you're just killing me, but and the truth is we're really the same size. So I like to talk about total events on that one. I think it gives people a better idea of how busy you actually are.
Yeah, I know we talked about this in a meeting a couple weeks ago as well. Is your event average, how much you bring in per event? I mine was like 250 something like that. Terrible. It was terrible, really low. And and then I started looking, well, actually Lionel talking, he's like, "Man, you're winning way too many uh uh bids or whatever, you know." And that means either you're too low or whatever. So I started looking. Yeah, my prices were too low. I was giving too big of discounts. I wasn't. My free delivery range was huge, and I was giving a lot of the little things, just giving them away, included. And man, I start reining all that stuff back in, and I mean, instantly you got like, um, I'm seeing $100 a uh increase nearly on all of my um events now because I've reined in all of that. So that for people who are just starting out, that's really something or that have been in a year or so. I know you want to give everything to get your foot in the door, but don't let that become a habit. To where that's the way you run your business from then on. I'm starting like my fifth year, and I started with that model just so that I could get jobs and um, but I stuck to it, and that's horrible. You're working your ass off for, and by the time you pay your ads and everything like that, you're getting like 25, $30 in profit, you know? So it's terrible. So make sure if that's the way you start, that you rein that stuff in eventually and start putting some money in your pocket, quit giving everything away.
Hey, can I drop some stuff from the conference this weekend in here?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Everybody cool with that? So
Or
this weekend we got to go to the Event Hawk conference, and one of the biggest takeaways that I got out of this was they brought up the concept of economies of scale. And if you guys don't understand what that means, basically once you get to a certain point, you can no longer just keep expanding. You have to kind of find a new spot, start over, redo your systems, because doing what you've been doing can only go to a certain point. You'll max out. After you get started, you're going to find very quickly there is a short economy of scale for startup. When when you first start, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you offer, nobody knows what your quality's like. It's going to take quite a bit to get your foot in the door in some of these places because nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to know who you are. So you're going to have to do some things that are not sustainable long term. So once you get that going, then you're going to have to figure out how am I going to have to redo this? What am I going to target? Who am I going to be? What's our business model going to be? You're going to have to rebuild a whole lot of this stuff. And your ads are going to follow that because if you look, the best way when you first get started is not even going to be Google Ads. It's going to be talking to people. It's going to be telling them, hey, I've got a business. I've got this. They're going to get their trust factors from meeting you, from seeing, what kind of person you are, how you present yourself, how you handle yourself. Once you get that established, then you can go on to things like Google Ads, where you've got a website and you've got trust factors on that website, and those ads are going to take care of those kind of things. But you've also got different types of ad marketing. You've got inbound and outbound, and Google is going to be
inbound marketing. You've got people that are searching for the product that you have, and you just pop up and you're like, hey, here I am. You know, your SEO is also going to do that in the long term. But for the short game, or like the uh, outbound marketing, it's kind of like when you're walking through a marketplace and you smell the cookies and you're like, oh, I didn't come here for cookies, but cookies sound good. They smell good. I want some cookies. And so that's where Facebook and Meta and those kind of things are going to come into play, because now it's people that you're going, hey, look what I've got. And they're like, I never considered a bounce house for my kids, but that looks cool. I want to go ahead and get that. So keep that in mind when you guys are trying to figure out what to do and where to go, because you have to know what economy of scale that you're in, because you can't match those by just jumping in and grabbing random ones.
That's great, great information. Yeah, and like I said, it takes time to get people to know your business, but you have to go every route. You have to try everything. Like Jeffrey say, like Lane say, you have to get to a point where you want to grow, but you have to establish your system and you have to run your Google ads, you have to run your meta ads, you have to be trying things and always, like Tariq says, like take note, take note of what you're doing so you can look at the past, what worked, and you can replicate it in the future and improve it, of course. But yeah, someone is raising their hand. Samson?
Yes, yes. I just wanted to ask a question. I was wondering, for the people that have been doing this for a while, how do you determine the delivery fee for an inflatable? Like, let's say 13 by 13 or a 15 by 15, like a standard size.
Well,
Is
first
it
of
a
all,
good
you don't
idea?
want to base it on the inflatable. You want to base it on the distance because more than anything, it's what you're driving. I mean, unless you're hauling like a big old trailer and you have really really heavy units, that's really gonna make your vehicle you know go through a lot of gas. Then at that point, I mean, you should at that point the price shouldn't be reflected on the delivery fee. It should be reflected on the price of the rental for the inflatable or the unit or game or whatever it is that you're renting itself. That's where you would want to add that, right? You would want to base it on like the weight, I would assume, how big it is, right? It would be because of the weight. So that would be where you would want to reflect it on the price of the unit. As far as delivery goes, I mean, what do you how much gas do you spend if you're taking a 20-minute drive out one way and then a 20-minute drive back to your spot? That's how you're going to want to base it on. I mean, if you're in California, I mean, I hear you're paying like $5 a gallon. We're in Georgia, we're paying $2 and some change, $3 sometimes for gas. So for me, we would be what I charge is a base delivery fee for $30. There are some people who do, free delivery within 5 to 10 mile radius. I'm still a smaller ended business, but I have been doing this as I'm going into my third year now. So we do a base delivery fee of $30 within a 10-mile radius.
Okay,
Because that
okay.
could take between, 20 to 30 minutes even to drive one way 10 miles. It just depends. We're a busy, city type area. There's a lot of vehicles on the road. So I have to take that into consideration, So for us, base delivery is $30, and then every mile after I charge like $2.50 or something like that. Or I think on my website, that's how I started, to be honest with you. I started charging like $2.50 per mile extra. On top of that $30. Well, actually, I'm gonna be honest, I've brought it down. I think I did what, $40 was it first? $45 delivery fee, right? But I used to do 15 miles. So then I brought down my radius and I lowered my price a little bit on the delivery fee. But mostly because I started being able to make up that difference in like setup and a couple of other things here and there, right? But that would be my suggestion.
So
Okay. Thank you for your input.
here's what I would ask. Why are you doing a delivery fee? Is it because it's costing you more? Because you got to know what your prices are. You got to know what your costs are. And if you're charging a delivery fee to cover an increased price, you can't just pick a number at random. You're going to have to know what your costs are. Um, our cost to do a delivery fee outside of 45 miles, we have to factor in the time that you're going to have two people in a vehicle, the time that you're going to have them on the road, the time that they're going to have to wait at the event. You know, we factor in setup time and all that with the price of the units, but you don't factor in those labor things. And then you've got to know the mileage that you're going to get off your vehicles. You're going to have to know the wear and tear cost of maintaining those vehicles, and you factor all of that in and say, okay, well, it's going to cost me 84 cents a mile or $1.12 a mile. And then you figure that out, and that's what you base it off of. Because otherwise, you're just guessing. You're shooting in the dark and you're hoping that you make a profit, and you may or may not make a profit. And it's like, if you're just doing it to pad your pockets, you might get lucky. You might end up hurting yourself. But otherwise, it's like, how do you know those numbers? And when you do know those numbers, you can go, wait, I'm spending this much, and there's other ways that I can cut those costs. Like, you may be renting a vehicle and you may be paying for maintenance on that rented vehicle versus paying for your own vehicle and doing your own maintenance. And it may be cheaper to do one or the other. You may think, oh, it's cheaper to have my own vehicle. And you find out it's actually cheaper to lease a vehicle and pay for somebody else to maintain it. There's several different ways to cut those costs, and then it makes you more competitive. But without knowing your costs, you're just shooting in the dark.
That's what Tariq does. They rent out. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Zoa, but I think you guys rent out with Penske or something like that, right? You guys have like a contract with them because
Yeah,
it's cheaper,
yes.
from my understanding, right? It's easier. You guys don't have to worry about insurance. You guys don't have to worry about gas, fixing
Sure.
anything or anything like
I
that.
mean, long term, no, it's not cheaper. We did just buy our own used Penske.
Hmm.
It is obviously more of an upfront cost. However, in terms of like the grand scheme of everything, you know, when you consider mileage, gas, insurance, everything, we're definitely going to save more money in a couple years down the line by purchasing one. However, because, you know, we are doing a lot of deliveries every single weekend, we're still renting out an extra like Penske or two.
Mm.
So either way, yes, that is an option, and I do recommend that to people if they're not ready to purchase that. You can get a business account with Penske and have rates and have like your own sales rep and everything. So that is definitely a possibility.
Thank you for everyone's input on that question. Thank you.
But I'll say this across every aspect of your business: you need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers.
Preach.
That's right. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your strategies. Anything you do at your business, you need to know. Like you need to know everything, remember everything, and you can use that always in the future, right? Just as finances, like strategies are the same. You learn from what you did in the past. If it didn't work for a reason. So you have to find that reason and improve it. But yeah, we have a couple of minutes. We have 5 minutes left. I don't know if
Say
anyone else.
something real quick on the Penske's, and I'm just being devil's advocate here, just to bring up conversation. I'm not being critical. Um, don't you think it looks better to the customer to pull up in your branded truck or van or trailer than a Penske?
I think
I'd
like
say
sure aesthetically it looks better. Like we're working on getting ours wrapped, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Like our customers have never really like questioned us pulling up in a rented Penske or anything like that. And we have a white pickup truck as well that doesn't have it's I mean it's the owner's, you know, it's Tariq's, but he doesn't have any branding on there at all. But he sees our crew with the shirts on and everything, and you know, a lot of our customers are repeat, but even the ones that aren't, you know, the schools don't question us, churches don't question us, nothing like that. So, do I think it makes that big of a difference? No. Do I think it is important though, if you have the time, the finances, the resources to brand your vehicle? Absolutely. I mean, more people are going to see you, and you know, it's another opportunity for traffic. to some degree, absolutely. But I think in terms of like professionalism and all that, like I don't think it's the end of the world to just have a plain old Penske out there. That's my opinion though.
I appreciate your input, and I don't disagree with you. Just is there anyone that thinks different?
I
Jim?
do actually. I do think different. I feel like even from the smallest perception, it matters. And when you show up to someone's backyard party in a rental truck, I don't know how everyone's communication goes, but for me, I always text my clients whenever I'm on the way. And then whenever I'm getting ready to get out of the car, I text them, hey, I'm walking up to your property. Um, I don't want to give you a percentage, but I'd say better than half the time. I got a client walking out the front door with little kids wanting to meet me because everyone's really excited about they're getting ready to get a bounce house. And, for me to show up in my, it's just a white Ford pickup. It's nothing big with a nice little trailer behind it. There's no wrap, but that looks different than me pulling up in a Penske truck. And again, just from the smallest visual, I think that matters. So if you do have the opportunity to do something like that, try to get a wrap on it as quick as possible. So that way, people know it's yours. You're not just pulling up to their house in a rental vehicle.
What do you think, Jim?
Sorry?
You're
You're
muted, Jim.
muted. Hey, Jim, you're muted.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted, hopefully. All right, so we use U-Hauls and we also used Penske trucks. And I'm with Jeffrey a little bit on this. What we will do is we have made out magnets with our company logo and everything like that on there. And we'll throw it right on the side of the truck, right over the top of U-Hauls or Penske's branding and everything like that to know that who we are rolling up in this rental truck and that. As far as the customers go around here, I don't think anybody's really cares what we pull up in, as long as we bring that bounce house on time, you know.
I'll say,
Yeah.
well, I don't know much about the business because I don't have a bounce house business, but I'll say it's depending on the person. I'll say it's not general. Like, of course, you look better with a branded truck, but as long as you bring a good service and at the end you pick up the bounce house at the time that you said you were gonna pick up, it's 100 times better. The good service than what it looks like.
Well,
I'd
guys,
rather.
I've done this across several industries, and the thing that I've noticed is it's going to depend on two different things. It's going to depend on A, does your customer even see you? I've had a lot of places where we would show up in trucks that were just broke down pieces of junk, but we were doing $1 million jobs. Literally, like we would do anywhere from $4 to $8 million for these contracts. But they're at government facilities. They never see your trucks. The people that you deal with are inside the building. They have no idea what you're driving. They don't really care. All they care about is whether or not it gets done. You're going to have larger corporate events where they're never going to see you. You're going to be in, you're going to drop, you're going to be out before they ever see that you're there. All they're going to do is show up. They're going to see, oh, hey, this looks great. That's all that matters to them. But then you're going to have the guys that are going to be standing on their front porch waiting because they just invested their last $150 on a bounce house. And they're going to be like, hey, I really want this. I want this to be good. I want this to be great. I want to have a great experience. They're going to care a lot more. But you're also going to have people that are like, oh, I got a great deal. I don't care what they do as long as I got a good deal on a bounce house. So it's really going to come down to the type of customers you want to attract, where you're showing up, when you're showing up, who's going to see you. You can't just say, oh, it's good or it's bad. It's really going to depend on your business model and what you're doing and your customer type. And you're the only one that can really answer that question.
Right, that's right, totally.
Very true. And just to kind of piggyback on to what Lane was saying also, a lot of times, like in the beginning, I did experience a lot more. I think what was it, Joe? I think he was mentioning that he meant that he'll like hop out the car and the people with the kids and everything, they're coming out towards you already. I did experience that a lot more in the beginning of me doing the business. I'm sure once I start up again, because right now I'm in the slow season. Um, and then I was pregnant for 9 months last year, so I wasn't actively going to the rentals myself. But now that I'm good to go, I'm ready to go back on site, right? So I'm gonna be out there doing everything with everybody else. But um I definitely see a little bit of both. Um to be honest with you, most of my customers, they don't really care what you're pulling up in as long as they see that bounce house. Like the kids, they're going to be excited to see the bounce house, not the car, not what you're pulling up in. Of course, yes, it is always it shows more professionalism. It shows that you're more put together. It creates more of a I'm an established business feel, but a lot of times, like Lane was saying, I don't even meet with the people who paid for it. Most of the times they're gone. They're busy doing the party stuff, getting last minute things. They're like, hey, I gotta run out. Gates open, let yourself in. I always just make sure that I do have at least consent through text. So in case anything does happen, I'm like, hey, look, I have permission to be here, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. Sometimes there's nosy neighbors. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I've heard stories. But I guess that is where backfired. So us not having like a magnet on the side or whatever and just pulling up in a pickup truck with a trailer, the customers didn't see us pulling down any bounce houses. They just saw us running back and forth, for like, hey, go grab the toolbox and whatever. By the time they were looking out, bounce house was already in the backyard. So all they saw was us grabbing boxes and last minute things that we needed to start setting up. And I guess this is like a neighborhood that they watch out for each other, and these people never have like people over or something. And even the lady told me, I normally don't have parties, but my kids really want to have their friends over and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me make it happen for you. Well, the neighbor called the cops on us. But because I had the messages, the cops were like, "Oh, okay." And by that point, I believe the lady was already off of work, so I was able to get in contact with her pretty quickly. Um, and she spoke with the cops and all that. She was like, "No, someone's home. Just knock. They'll let you know that they are there. Just our cars aren't there because I left to go to work." Um, but yeah, I guess in that aspect, it does suck not having the sign, because then if you have a nosy neighbor, they don't know who you are. But
that paper doesn't fit in there. I gotta look. I was just yeah, because I
but
folded
yeah,
it.
so it really just depends on you. I haven't had the time to do any wrapping or anything or the money, but that's just not what I'm trying to put my money towards right now. Like I'm still in the I need to build in different aspects. So in due time, whenever you're ready, I guess, everybody's timing is different.
I
Well,
got two things to throw at you real quick. One, I go to the door and or I hand everyone a business card. So that's my wrap. That's my sign is everybody gets a business card. I've never had anybody, which I do have a nice truck, but I've never had anybody comment on my truck. Everybody comments on the service. So let your service speak for your signs. Hand them a business card if you can't afford your wraps or your signs on your truck. And like I said, you show up on time, you give them great service. Nobody's ever going to say anything about your truck. That's more of what you want to do. That's what you want your image to be. But like Rosa, you'll get there. But customer service is always number one. Show up on time and great customer service, and everything else will fall in place.
I just want to add
Your
something real
reviews
quick.
will always mention your customer service and everything, not your truck. Sorry, go ahead, Francisco.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to add something. I'm not in the bounce house uh, business, but I have game trucks. So I remember when I started, and before to even afford my first Meta, a Google Ads, I my trailer was like pre-wrap. I had a pre-wrap. So what I was doing, it was like on the weekends I was driving in the Mall of Georgia, going around, and my wife was like, I was calling her, "Hey, you get one? Yeah, I got one. I got one." So it's just it just helps. It's marketing. Then you just start building your brand, building your way up. I remember also going to work when I had my full time. It was like 7 a.m. going to Publix, park the trailer right there, and my wife picking me up and talk to the manager. Hey, do you mind? I got to run some errands and I come back. And then the phone would start like ring, 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 and booking parties. I mean, it's just your basically the way you want to look your business. If you want to grow and you want to grow, or it's part of the marketing. It's part of it, and then from there just start getting money for ads, and then I start running ads. And I don't do that anymore. I don't go. I just sometimes when I have times between parties and here and there, I go and I drive around and I just keep keep doing that kind of thing. I mean, I think it will help you. Absolutely will help your rap.
I
So
don't
I'll
I don't dis I don't disagree with anything anyone has said. This is Joe. I'm the one that brought it up. Ultimately, where I'm at though, I'm more with Jeffrey in that, and nothing against. Hey, I've this is my sixth year, so I went 2 or 3 years without any branding on my truck and trailer. Um, but I think Rosalie brought it up. Someone. Um, you do look more established. You do look more legit, if you will. It's a word we use a lot in this industry. Um, so I think you're right. I mean, sometimes the customer never sees what we're driving, and that's fine. But the mom that sees us at a stoplight, um, and then the customers that do see our vehicles, um, I think it makes a difference. So ultimately, that's where I'm at. Is that yeah? If you need to rent a Penske, go for it. I've done it, and I never felt bad about it. But when I get to the point of either buying a new truck or trailer or box truck, um, man, if I can afford to, I'm going to go ahead and buy and brand it to my company rather than having Penske or U-Haul all over the side of it. But hey, no hate. I've been there. I've done it.
Thank you, thank
I'll
you.
add too. When you have your wrap on your vehicle, you have to determine what the ROI is going to be for anything in your business. What's it going to cost me and what am I going to get out of it? And is it worth it? And I think a lot of times we forget to do that. We're more worried about the fact that it could do or it does certain things, and we just assume the ROI. And when you look at a wrap on a vehicle, let me ask this: is there anybody here that thinks a wrap on a vehicle is a bad thing for your business? The answer for that, I can guarantee, is going
No.
to be a no. That's not the problem. The problem is, what are my priorities in my business? Because I cannot have more than one priority. If you do, that negates the entire point of the word priority. So when
Mhm.
you find the one thing that matters the most, that's what you work on, and you work on it until it's done. And then once that's done, you move to whatever has become the most important thing. And wraps, honestly, they're not the first thing you should worry about. They're not your priority. Eventually, once you've exhausted everything else, you'll get to it. But that's the question: is when should you get to it? And I think we're shortcutting that question by saying, is it important? Yes, we all agree it's important. But the real question is, when should we get to that? Should we do that first? Should we do that last? Is it so unimportant that we don't even bother to do it at all? I don't know if you guys know what an Eisenhower matrix is, but I use one every day. I basically list the importance of a topic and the urgency of that topic, and then I put them in order. And the things that are high importance, high urgency, those are the things that I work on right now. The things that are um, high urgency and low importance, those are the things that I delegate. I'm like, hey, you work on this right now. The things that are high importance and low urgency, I schedule those for later. If it's the things that are low importance and low urgency, I don't even do them. I just say, hey, why do I even have this on my list? This is a waste of my time. And I think that's what we're asking about is where does that actually fall in our business? And honestly, you're going to have to be the one that decides that. It's going to be different for every single business owner because your market, your people, like I said, it depends on who you're meeting, where you're meeting them, how you set up, and you have to decide that on a case by case basis.
Well, Jeffrey, Joe, and I think the bouncer guys, I see you guys have them. When did you guys decide to do them?
Well, I haven't done mine yet. That's actually the
Oh, you did mention that you just have yours. Okay, okay.
no,
Well,
no.
Joe.
Mine's a plain white Ford pickup truck. That's what I was saying. Mine is nothing special. That the wrap on my vehicle is the lowest of my priorities as far as my marketing go.
Mm-hmm.
Getting flyers out to schools, I feel like is going to have a much stronger ROI. As Lane says, you got to work the numbers. Getting a wrap on your vehicle, that's more of a total package kind of deal. When you're really working on your branding at a higher level, when you're showing up and you think that people actually are paying attention to your vehicle because again you're showing up to the $1 million events through the front door, the wraps matter. But up until then, I I don't want a bad rap, but basic, Ford F-150 or Silverado pulling up with the trailer behind it just looks like some dude going to work, and everybody's cool with that.
So I had year four, and this is six. Year four, I wrapped my trailer. Last year, I wrapped my Sprinter van. Hey, let me ask this: you guys that do rent trucks or have rented them, just ballpark. What do you pay mileage in out the door for a truck? Pick up Friday and drop off Monday.
Great.
And
Great.
that depends on where you
Miles to
get it.
Ellen.
I've done it at Home Depot for $20, but you also got it depends on your mileage and how far you drive it. It's going to depend on where it comes from, what you're running around in.
Well, like a man in this case, it would be a Sprinter van, box truck, something for an entire weekend, right? So, I'm probably running, I don't know, 300 miles in a weekend. So, just my point was um, when it comes time to say, okay, I'm scaling to where I need another vehicle, another delivery vehicle. Can I afford this monthly payment, or am I going to pay X amount of dollars per week and to rent? Now, I know insurance comes with that. That's a big part of it. Um, so, just your thoughts.
That's great. Yeah, great information. Sorry, I have to come in. I know we're all talking and we're giving really good information here. This is my first time hosting this roundtable, and I have learned a lot of things today, honestly. Thank you very much, Joe, for your comments on this, and Jeffrey, Lane, like Rosalie. You're right. It's a business, and at the end of the day, you have to grow and you have to establish your business and establish your brand, create your branding. But when you're starting, you have to consider your priorities. So yeah, you're all right. Basically, you're all right. You're on different points of the business. but I think this is a really good conversation. And yeah, well, we have to wrap up right now. I really hope you guys have a nice day today, tomorrow, every day, and follow what we learned today. And if you want, of course, schedule a meeting with us, and we will get you the right strategy for any position that you are in your business. So, yep. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you, and see you guys next week.
Night, everybody. Bye.
All right.
Good night, guys.